Hello, welcome to another episode of Bodybuilding and Beanies. I got it right that time. I actually remember the name. Um, I guess a pre-warning of this episode. Me and Josh are both fucked, but I'm actually going to introduce a third guy. Hello.
Got your dog.
Hello.
Thing is, my dog don't like me, so I can't bring him up. Sorry.
Ooh, you just fucking kiss me then.
At least someone kissed you. That's it's been fucking ages for me.
Hello. Right, you can go down now. Okay, so anyway, I don't know what episode we're on. Episode, do you want to go out? Right, 1 second. Fucking.
Sam's left me in front of the camera on my own again. I have a panic attack. Fuck, you know.
Okay. Anyway, this episode is one where I'm pretty fucked. Christian's gonna know tomorrow on check-in that I'm feeling like I've been hit with an artillery shell. Upper decky going in. Uh
God, Sam uses SNES. I can never.
these bro, we have this conversation every fucking podcast, right? Anyway, and then Josh, on the other hand, he's got his own issues as well, which is yeah, he's got
I,
AIDS basically.
my life's a mess.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
not.
you
I'm not going to go into it because I can't be bothered. Josh's life is a mess. And I look. I'm not gonna lie. My eyes. Look how heavy my eyes look.
Wow.
I'm
No
not,
shit. I've got a curious thing, right? We just talked about your blood test. We could, if you wanted to, we could do another episode because Atlas get back pretty quick. I'm getting my blood done tomorrow. We could both go through our bloods on a podcast.
top jokes.
Literally,
One me, one you on who's got the worst HDL to LDL ratio.
who's gonna die quicker?
Shock horror, it's me.
99 out of 100 death, what's it? Death
I have no
likelihood.
idea how my bloods are actually all right. Like, I'm only like, what, 4 weeks post show, and what I used this year actually wasn't underdosed.
And bro's not dying. Yeah, but we actually do take at least some sort of precaution towards our health, which actually I've got a really funny. So I got a question on my thing which
That
relates to
reminds me, I'd tell you, I'd say a really not embarrassing story, but just funny story that happened to me on Sunday. I
what's that?
almost died.
You almost died?
Yeah,
Like for real or just like metaphorically?
metaphorically.
Okay, so yeah. Do you want to go through that then?
Yeah, basically. So I was even more in the bin on Sunday than I am now. Um, and it was the first time in I think it's the second time this year I've had a nap in the day. The first time was when I needed a deload. I had it post-workout, which lasted an hour. Um, and then the second time was Sunday. Woke up after 3 hours and I had slept for 3 hours on my front, somehow like that. So you got to think you've got a 200 odd pound male on his arms for 2 hours straight, 3 hours straight. You know, when you wake up and you've got a dead arm because you slept on it. So I slept on both arms. So
Oh,
right now I'm laying in bed, right? And I'm just like this. And I can't push myself up because I haven't just been laying on my forearm. I've been laying on like my upper arm as well. So all my limbs are dead. And I'm thinking, I- I'm fucked here because just because I woke up, my arms aren't going, I'm not getting blood back into my arms. I can't move. There's nothing I can do. So yeah, I was there for about 10 minutes. Um, I did call Hey Siri
what?
because I was like, well, if someone's like, I don't know, if I can get someone to come around to my house and just roll me over, I'll be all right.
Hey,
Uh,
my bro's out here. Mom,
no, I was gonna be like, oh, I'm not actually gonna say it because I'll do the fucking thing on my.
What if you rolled over though and like your head was in your pillow and you fucking start going?
This gets me on to the next thing. Hold on. So I was gonna be like, well, no one's home. However, Ethan knows where my spare key is on the side of my house. I'm leaving it there in case someone breaks into my house. From when I forgot Winstrol before PCA Wales, and he was on the way, so he picked it up on the way. So I was like, right, I can hopefully ask him, and hopefully he's not training. This is like really over the top, and it was never even needed. But I was like, okay, that could work. My phone, I don't know where my phone is. I think I'm laying on it as well. I don't know where it's not working. So I'm like, right, okay. So I basically just rolled. I tried to gather momentum, right, and then just rolled myself over, and then just fell on the floor. And then I got blood back to my arms. I cracked on with my day. The worst thing is that's actually true as well.
Well, so Josh felt what it's like to be partially blue badged.
Yeah, I was for a brief, what, 15 odd minutes, I was fully disabled.
Bro could have claimed the blue badge for 15 minutes. That's crazy.
I feel jumped into mixed disability at PCA Holland in like what, 2 weeks?
Oh, goddamn.
What? They go,
Goddamn.
what's wrong with you? I slept on my arms for too long.
Oh, they're back now. Put it open.
I'll be fine. It's fine. I'll be a mixed disability, and I'll hopefully I'll probably still lose it. But theoretically, if I won it, I'd then be
You probably
I
still.
I wouldn't be mixed disability for the overall. I'd be changing classes as the day goes on.
Yeah, a bit gradual arm blood. Oh, nice. Fuck. I've had that before. I had a similar one. I've had the one. Have you had it when you've I mean, this is quite familiar actually. Not familiar? Consistent, regular, the word. Anyway, you're on a bog, mate. You're on the bog for too long, and you're doing the whole fucking arms like this, bro. Your arms like this. You're on your phone for a good half an hour, 40. Half an hour is probably your top set. But if you go past that to failure to 40 minutes, you end up start trying to stand up to go for a wipe, and you go, I sit you back in the bog, mate. Do you take your arms off and you fucking it's like white, you got white marks and then they go red, and then you go,
Yeah.
I've lost all my blood now in my legs.
You know what the best thing is? You know when it's when when like say if you're just wearing boxes or something, and you can tell that you've got the exact same bit on your ass.
Same what on your ass?
You know when like you just sat on the toilet for too long,
Yeah.
and you get like you see you just mentioned about the marks on like your knees.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
You get that on your ass. It's so cool to look in the mirror.
No.
Look in the mirror, you just got like a massive like red mark on your ass. It's quite funny.
And you look at the fucking toilet seat, there's a fucking solid dent, mate, where your cheeks have been, mate. Prep cheeks.
Massive sweat patch.
Mate, but on prep though, fuck me, that was tough when you got skinny cheeks, mate, on prep.
The worst thing was when I was like I think I was a week out from Midlands, and I was on a walk and I really needed a piss. But it was one of those where I was so urgent for a piss, I was like, I'm actually going to sit down. Worst decision ever. 'Cause it actually hurt. I felt worse from sitting on the toilet.
Mate, God, weak job. I chose the wrong sport, man. Like, you are, fuck me. Some I don't know. I don't really rate CrossFitters. CrossFitters, you can, I don't know. You're okay, but you have an opinion on bodybuilders. Anyway, but there, I had one speak to me the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, you just live like 90% of your life in hell, don't you?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like,
Yeah,
"Well, either you're force feeding yourself or you're starving yourself, and either end of the spectrum, you look unhealthy." I'm like,
it's
I'm like, do you know what? Valid opinion, to be fair. There's like only what you probably got about 8 weeks where you actually are like decent post prep, rebound, okay.
you don't feel good. Like I feel good now in the sense of like hormonally, I feel absolutely sound. My body doesn't.
Yeah.
My body's not. My body's fucked because it's still like sensitive. I was chatting about this to someone else earlier on DMs, and like because they just finished their prep, and they were like almost like just not asking for advice, but they were like just it was like a general conversation, and they were just like saying about like how they don't get why their body's like still fucked after a prep. I'm like, because it takes you long to get into that position. It takes just as long to get out of it.
But also think about this as well, right? This is one thing I massively am gonna start like preaching. I want to do real. I need to start getting back on Instagram, bro. My Instagram's so dead, but I'm so shocked
I will
right
say it's also at the time of year though.
yeah, I'm just like right now, I'm struggling to find like what I want to post. Like, I don't care about trends and shit. I just want to find something I want to post.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's the thing. That's why I like for me, it's like that's why I like prepping.
yeah, because you just want to show off like looking decent and it's quite
No,
nice. And
no, not even that, not even that. I like when I have something to update about myself.
I remember that every day. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like I like when like my Instagram is almost like I I don't want to sound like the generic person. Oh, I do it for me and no one else, but I genuinely do. Like
Mm.
sometimes I'll genuinely look back through my Instagram from like a year ago and just be like, oh, what was I doing on that day? But then when you're in a prep, it's every single day that something changes.
Yeah.
So I like that because I'm like, that makes my brain tick. Whereas like now it's like, oh, I'm just training again. I'm training again. I still like that, but then I also like it when I'm like, I'm doing something a little bit different.
Yeah. It's hard in the off season because like you, yeah, great, I got a new high, but the new high just looks no different to the new high that you'd
Yeah.
had last week. Like it's my new high today. I had 211 pounds today. Crazy. 211.2. I'm like 9 pounds off my heaviest ever weight. Gang. So like I'm getting there, but I feel like my new high is just not really going to be any different to my la new high last week.
Yeah.
But what I was saying was post prep. I think one thing you need to preach about more is the mental effect of post prep, like especially
I
first
actually think, I think
timers.
like to be fair, like I was pretty sound last year as well, but like because I've been through it before this year, I'm like, well, I know what to expect.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
I
but you
think
get
it's
that.
first step, like as much as you can like listen to what people will say on Instagram, what people say on like podcasts, or what people literally say to you if like they're just mates with you, like you can't really prepare yourself for how you're gonna feel when you're like, okay, I haven't got this immediate sort of goal in the next couple of weeks, but I still need to be incredibly restricted with what I'm eating. Something can go wrong at pretty much any time, and I'm also not allowed as much flexibility as I would want to, and I'm still gonna feel really shit and my training, I'm gonna really want to train. My training's still gonna be shit, and I'm gonna feel really bad after a session. It's horrible.
I think post prep is worse than prep.
Yeah, 100%.
I just think, like, I think one thing about the whole feeling battered as well is like in prep you have that goal, so you just go for it. Like you know you're competing,
Oh
so
no,
you
in prep, it's like there's 2 points in the day, no, three, where you almost like give that sort of acceptance to how you're feeling. It's first thing in the morning, if you look good and or you get a new low. Um, it's post workout when you look good and or you've had a good session. And then it's when you've done everything for the day. You've
yeah.
had your meal, you've got all your work done, you've drank all your water if you're water losing or something like that, and you've just done everything. And you're almost like, for me, I get a high at the end of the day because I'm like, so everything's done.
Whereas post show, it's like you feel like there's no larger goal now when there actually is.
Yeah, and that's the thing, it's like post show, it's like for me, even though I'm rebounding, so I'm a lot bigger already than I was 4 weeks ago. But I look collectively worse
Mm.
because I'm not as dry, I'm not as lean, I'm not as sharp. It's
You just post prep is a bit ass, but
that's why like, I put up a decent bit of content about it because I feel like now I've been through it twice, I can almost like give my 2 pence on the situations in terms of like what I've done differently this year, what I've done differently last year. But
100%.
it's just shit. It's like once I think once you're out of that post prep position, life's actually sound. But until then, life's shit.
I think I'm just coming out of that bell curve now. Like
Really?
I'm 20 weeks deep into off season now. And I'm feeling good. Like training's fucking flying. Food's going down easy.
I
Um,
reckon I'll actually be like 100% sound. Going off how where when I was there last year, I reckon I'll be there in the next 3 weeks. Only because of PD's being used.
took me a long time, and I think the reason why it took me so long was because post prep I was looking forward to a holiday for a long period of time. And the issue with that is I kind of just wanted to go on holiday sooner, and I was just a bit like no, I'll be honest. I had a good stint post show with my specialization block because I grew a motherfucker, but I still never felt 100%. But now I'm like, okay, cool. Although, like I said to you earlier, I feel like I'm hit with a fucking shell of artillery.
No, that's
Uh,
just because it's probably just getting out.
I'm ill or deload, not ill or I need a deload. One of the two. I've been training really, 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 really hard like the past like 3 weeks, so it could be that. Question: Are you going to coach approach this weekend?
No.
Oh, I am. Well, I'm
Where's
just
that?
it's in Birmingham, I think. Yeah, a bit.
No, no.
Yeah, I hate driving Birmingham, but so be it. there's no shows on, so it should be okay. I don't think it's city centre either. I pray it's not anyway. But
Centre's easy to get to, it's just parking.
yeah,
City centre, like Birmingham City Centre is really, really easy to get around.
do you think?
Yeah,
Oh, I just hate cities, mate. I'll be honest. I just hate cities. Um, Also, how many questions you got?
I think free.
Oh, I got a couple. Favorite form of. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I've got a very good question, which is quite so funny on a laugh. Um, yeah, I just don't
Oh,
really.
mm, yeah, I've got three.
Nice.
One which you can't really answer,
That's
uh,
fine.
and one which we could both answer. Two which we can, but I don't really know if we should. It's not even bad. It's who of each other's clients would you like to coach? Well, I get our jail free card because Josh Connolly. But then at the same time, I feel like because it's one of my clients who asked this, if you don't say him, he's gonna feel pretty shit.
Fuck's sakes, man. See, I don't follow too many of your clients, but I'm just gonna have a look through your page quickly and just see the one who just like lights my eyes up quickly. I feel like there's one which I know for sure, which I would, but I need to find him because you have got a pretty good Donny on your team.
No, no, I think we've spoken about him, but the worst thing is I think the guy who you're gonna say I don't coach anymore.
I don't coach him anymore.
I think that's who you're gonna say because I think we've spoken about him.
Hmm. I don't even know, lad. I mean, you coached a guy you were fucking prepping, which I was like, I don't remember.
Yeah, that was going well, and then 2 days after I put that update out, pull prep.
Anyone that really I can prep. But this guy I just found, he looks decent, but I don't know if you coach him or not. Luke Cadger.
Yeah, Luke's mint, but I don't coach him anymore. No, that's what I was thinking.
Luke Cadger looks pretty. He should get on stage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wanted him to prep this year, but he didn't. I wanted him to do BMBF Scottish. He's from Scotland. That's the show I wanted him to do. Because he would have been. I don't think he would have been juniors because he's 23. But I think if I was to get him into a UK DFBA show, he would have been juniors for men's physique.
He could have done junior. He just wouldn't be able to do junior for the finals.
No,
So you
because
mean,
no, because BMBF is 21 under. I
oh what?
think so, yeah.
Fuck.
But
So,
it's one of those where it's like Luke's really, really good. And like he was like we literally dieted for like 12 weeks, I think. Um, no, 9 weeks. And he looked better like within a week. It was a case of just getting you training well.
he looks decent. So
Yeah, Luke's mint. I think he might be coming back on board. I think he's like the only reason he stopped is because of like he's going back to do his masters,
fuck, fair play. Very, very valid.
which is fair.
Um,
Um,
on that topic, how is business?
Business sound, but it's also like the time of year.
Yeah, I had we spoke, I had a few drop off. I had two sign ups and another one drop off peak. But it's like I said, I'm in a better position now than I was last year. So that's what I care about.
That's why I always say to myself is like I'm like you're always gonna be in a better position from like the months of like March to like say start of September. I think that's like the peak for coaching. Um, and then it almost works as like other side of the pendulum, where like from September it gradually starts dropping off. October, November, December is wank, and then it gradually starts creeping back up towards the start of the year.
Just progressively overload my coaching, mate.
Yeah,
Need
but that's the thing. It's fucking annoying, but then it's also like, well, I'm coaching, not to sound rude, but I'm coaching better people as well than I was last year.
Yeah, well, you have that thing where
Or
it's
the clients who I'm still coaching from last year are better anyway.
yeah, the loyalty curve gets better. That's one thing I love is like you look at these large coaches, we know the ones, and they got so many clients, and you're thinking, well, they've probably got a lot of loyalty clients just from doing it for so long. And
Mm.
that's like one thing you need. You need a foundation of loyalty clients, which are the ones that stay with you for pretty much ever, the ones that will return if they leave, etc., etc. So,
I think
yeah,
that's why, like, I think as much as you don't need to, let's say, prep people to make a good amount of money from coaching, but that's a way in a sense where you can always pretty much guarantee that as long as you work well with those clients, they work well with you, they're probably never going to leave.
yeah,
You
fact.
always need a coach, and that's why, like, I think it works well for both the athlete and the coach because it's like, okay, first of all, for the coach, it's sound because that money's always there. But then I think it also works well because you learn them throughout all fucking parts of the year.
That's the best thing. I love same with clients and knowing what ticks them is the most
Yeah.
rewarding thing ever. Like when you just know you do something that works, you're like, yep, sound, that's so fucking cool. I love it. Absolutely love it. So I got a question. I'll put this question on. So fuck off. So I guess name stupid stacks you've heard of when in the off season. I've got a funny one
What, as
about
in like first hand heard?
yes, like anything you've heard of, maybe through vine trees, I don't know, or anything like that.
I swear someone DM'd me one.
I'm gonna message you about this one as well because it's so fucking funny.
I swear someone DM'd me it. Can't remember. Well, I've had like a few people like I had someone come on board and they were running like so they knew they aromatized quite high. So they were running, I think, 350 test, 600 mast, 150 tren. And it was the first time they've ever put tren in, so it went straight to 150 because that's really logical. Actually, maybe even 200.
Smart. That's smart.
But then they never run. But this is again why like it really bugs me because I put up a reel about it in terms of like what you should do for a first cycle, in terms of escalating your dosages over time, starting off on something which is 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, 999 times out of 1,000, you're not going to get pretty much any side effects from it because you're
Yep.
just escalate from there. Um, I like to get blood work done 20 weeks in, 12 weeks in, something like that, even though you know you're probably not going to have any like or too many deteriorous negative health effects anyway, just to see how you've responded.
Yep.
That's
Correct.
this is not getting it done. I'm not getting that done to just see how fucked you are. Let's come off cycle. But then you can almost just assess how much you can escalate with. I put that on Instagram, did really well. Had a few fair people message me about it. Put it on TikTok. Why the fuck would you take 150 tests for a first cycle? Why would you even bother getting blood work done? Why wouldn't you bother taking 500? I'm like, fucking shut up.
Hey, D-Trend messaged you.
Genuinely, it's one of it's probably the most recent reel I've put up in the last like, to be fair, aside from my leg press ones.
The leg press. I saw the leg press one.
And it's literally like, oh my God, you know absolutely nothing. I'm like, how do I know nothing when I'm literally telling, I'm not saying I know everything, but I'm saying this is what I would advise for a first cycle because then you can moderate up your fucking dosages. And
And
this,
also, the good thing is about it is if you do get implications, it's easy to pull back and to find the solution. That's the thing. People got if you stick in two or three compounds to start with, what do you know which is causing the effect?
you
You know what
don't,
I mean? It's like it's even similar to like let's just say dietary stuff. You adding some new foods in or whatever. Like, don't add in three new variables to your diet because you then need to then pull out one by one to see which one's causing the effect. Add in one thing at a time into your diet. Same thing. It's
uh,
yeah. People are just stupid. They'll just
what I find weird about like TikTok as well is like the type of people on there you wouldn't expect to be on there. Like the type of people on there, just like massive gearheads who just don't get blood work done. Like typical, like just old school bodybuilders. I'm like, so why the fuck are you using TikTok?
literally. What are you? Aren't you meant to be in the gym doing an 8 hour arm workout like Rich Piana?
Literally, I'm just like, what the fuck, man? But yeah, I think like in terms of people who come to me, um, yeah, just the person who was just running loads of tests. To be fair, his mass wasn't 600. His mass was the same as his test, and the trend was at 200 first ever exposure. And I was like,
Smart,
all
smart. Yeah, smart. That's smart. Yeah.
In terms of like what I've heard, um, it was someone who I remember I was like 8 days out, and I said to him, no, I was like 3 days out, I think. I was very close to my first show, and I saw him in the gym, and I spoke to him like a few times, and I said to him, I was like, right, because I'm a nice person, if you mesh me for coaching, I will do you cheaper because I care about your health, and you're going to kill yourself. And I was like, I don't mean that to be a dick. I
Mm.
mean that in the sense of you are literally, I think he's like 19 or 20. He's younger than me, like a lot younger than me. And he was running test, D-bol, MPP, and there was something else as well. But just like it was another compound that he was like, I don't think you need to run.
Why
Uh,
do you need four? Why do you need four anabolic compounds?
yeah. And why is he eating oral? And bear in mind, he was like, oh, how much you weigh? And I was like, oh, about 183, 182, something like that. He was like, oh, what's that in kilos? And I off the top of my head, I don't know. I was like around maybe like what, 83, 85, something like that, maybe like 87, I don't know. Around there, like mid 80s, etc. He's like, oh, because I'm 100 kilos and you look so much better than me. And I was like, I wonder why. I don't want to be a dick, but I wonder why.
Bro's a water buffalo. Nice.
Literally, like I've seen people spilled after a show. He wasn't post show, but he was fucking spilled.
Hey, bro sport is off-season peak. Fuck. Bro sport is off-season peak. Fuck.
Five guys deep.
Yeah, bro.
I was actually like shock horror as an applied for coaching. Um, I've just seen your message. Is this about? So what was the question again?
It was about the worst sort of off-season stacks, and
Is
so I
this
spoke.
what? Is this person's off season stuff?
No, this is so back around. So I spoke to a guy who his friend is coached by a certain coach in the industry. Um, and I'm not going to name names because it's throwing shade, isn't it? But off-season stack, some of the compounds decent, right? So it's let's just say it's test, a DHT derivative, growth hormone. Okay, cool. Super droll. Yeah.
Now, I'm I'm not gonna bullshit. I am partial to a little bit of Anavar if I'm training arms. But Anavar's and like
I'm,
the
I,
Anavar I
I-
was using was first of all a lab which I have first-hand experience to be very underdosed. And for I don't know what reason why, but the only ones which I could get my hand on were 10 milligrams. I'm a
what?
fan that. Basically, I wasn't at my house. So I was at someone else's house, and why would they not have 25 or 50 milligram anabolic? Because they're a female. Um,
Ah,
Basically, I just nicked theirs. It's quite funny actually. I remember she goes to me, she was like, "Oh, I had loads of anabolics." I was like, "Oh yeah, I don't know why.
why is I've got 10 missing?
What? This was full. This was full today, Josh." But no, like, I'm not going bullshit. Like if I've got arms, etc., I might accidentally put one in pre. Um,
Yeah, but the thing is, we know
Annabelle again, incredibly fucking mild. But I also
it's
don't
so
get that.
mild. It's so mild, and I just don't. I mean, right, like if you're going to utilize Superdrol for the ability of, let's say, that glycogen shuttling that it can kind of produce.
And also, you're like, don't get it wrong. Like Superdry is fucking brilliant in off season for the benefits. It's just the negatives are fucking big as well.
This is what I'm saying. Like, okay, so the benefits for it, fantastic. For the negatives, no.
Yeah, it's even like I remember I saw a JP video on it once. And he was like, Superdry is, I think he said like Superdry is his favorite drug, but he can't use it because yes, it's so fucking good, like in terms of a pre-workout setting and what it can do. You go shuttle food around much more. Um, I think people have like seen like literally like weeks of progression in like a fucking day. This wasn't from a JP video, but I swear I've read about it. In terms of like how well you respond to it. when you're in off season. Likewise with Winstrol. However, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. However, what's the negatives of Superdrol? Blood pressure goes through the fucking roof.
Would you want to monitor in the off season? You're
Yeah.
heavier, you're unfit. Why would you want to elevate that even more?
Your food's going to be higher, your training demand's going to be higher, so your blood pressure will be going to be higher anyway. Even I've seen natural people. I've had clients who are just on a lot of food, and their blood pressure is not super high, but it's not normal. It's like,
Oh.
but that's because they're on a lot of food. So why would you fucking make that worse? I've done shows where I've put like where we've like been like, okay, let's put a little bit more in, a touch more, and I can see my heart beating. And I'm like, I'm quite a chilled out person. So for that to happen, I'm like, what the fuck?
Bro, I literally from prep to off season, I gain about 20 points on systolic blood pressure, about 15 points in dystolic
Yeah.
blood pressure, like just from eating more food. Like it, and then you add in a compound which elevates that even more. Fantastic. That's great. Hypertension waiting to happen. Let's get it.
It's
I don't
ridiculous.
know. I just thought everything in that stack sounded amazing until you said super droll on the top of it. I was just like, that's just I
But
don't think that's
I
very smart.
genuinely think like I don't know. I don't really understand why it's still a question in terms of what compounds did you use in off season? Testosterone, Mastron or Primo? I've got a question on that. If you have the funds, GH. If yours have spare funds, but it's not actually that expensive, Slin, L-carnitine.
Possibly 19 naught towards the back end if you need to be.
I'm not. I've used it once just because it was my first exposure to it. So like, right, we're going to be using it in my first prep. Let's just see how I respond. And I was like, I'm
We're
fine.
talking advanced athletes at the 19 naught
Yeah, but
anyway.
like, I judge on like how. To be fair, when we first put it in prep, I was sound. But then because I don't even think it's the amount which we use, we didn't use much at all. But I think with a 19 nor, it's first of all make sure you're not using loads of it, but it's also then it's the duration.
Yeah,
You know how I spoke about when you are in prep, after you do that first show, the clock starts.
yeah,
That's when you need to, that's the same with the 19 no.
yeah.
And I use this expression for a lot of things with anything in bodybuilding. It's like, in my opinion, when your food is above say 42 to 4,500 calories, you're on a clicking time bomb until your appetite goes in the bin.
Correct.
That's sped up if you push your food up. If you are using a 19 nor, obviously, I think the second that goes in, you're on a clock until you need to take it out because your appetite's going to go in the bin or your stress levels get through the roof. Like the reason why I was stressed out before Yorkshire, but I was also stressed out because I had 19 nor. I wasn't aggressive, I wasn't anything, but I was also like I was just stressing about more things than I usually would do.
Yeah.
That, but then also it's the amount that you use, like shortens the amount of time you can stay on. But I don't really. So in that case, because of those things, in previous pushes, I've been like, oh, let's put Tren in, let's put this in because I like it, and I think I get more. I get a lot out of it. But at the same time, I also don't really care for it. I know I can
Yeah.
grow a lot off. I've grown. I grew loads after my last prep, and I was on 250 milligrams of androgens.
This is what I mean, bro. There's a very, I think people who put a story up. Someone put a story up. Oh, who was it now? Somebody answered the story, and it was such a good way to put it. I think it was just like,
Are you gonna chat about like I'm not too sure. Yeah, I don't even know what you're on about at the moment, but I got a feeling you're gonna say about just people who whinge and say that they're really weak because they're on TRT.
nah, no, no, no. I'm on about.
That pisses me off.
It was someone like say, I think it was somebody saying like, "What do you think of this stack in the off season?" It was like, "Yeah, I got MPP this and that," and then he was just like, the response was basically, "Why are you trying to reinvent the wheel? Like,
Yeah,
just we know what works and we know what's safer.
that's
Why
what
don't?"
that's another thing that pisses me off. When people just wanna like people who it's always younger people as well who just want to use SAMs.
Oh, fucking
But I
Christ!
had a question about it. I was 5 days out from Midlands, I think, or like maybe a week out from Wales. Because I remember I put a question box up because it was a rest day, and I was driving back from physio, and I saw the question come up. And before if I ever get questions like that where I'm like, I actually probably should speak to the person about it, I'll still answer it on my story, but I'll also message them. So I said to him, I was like, first of all, why do you want to use? I'm pretty sure it was. I want to say it was Rad 140.
Yeah.
Is Rad 140 the one that I don't know fuck all about?
That's Austrian, I think, isn't it?
Is Rad 140 the one which people take instead of Anavar?
I don't fucking have a clue about Psalms. I don't look into them. If it's, is that not Austrian? I think it is Austrian, isn't it? Doesn't help that Greg Doucette also fucking, what's it called? Publicizes them, doesn't he? Like testosterone and stuff.
Yeah, I think it was Rad 140, but I was like, why? Like the only like there's absolutely zero fucking research on it. Yes, Anavar is an anabolic steroid. However, there is literally human studies that are done. There is research done on them. If you encounter issues with blood work as a result of that, there's also research done, or not even just research done, there's just people who have probably encountered the same problems because it is used on
I've
human.
got a really funny theory, you know. How do we know? This is like a bit of a conspiracy, I guess. How do we know that these Psalms are not just remarketed orals that we because they can upmarket Psalms so easily with price? How do you know it isn't just VAR? Like, how do you know it's not just Fem VAR? You know, it's meant to replace VAR. How do we know it's not just VAR? It's a dark labs trying to make an actual.
It's the same thing with like any gear though, isn't it? It's like I've had some tests from some places which I've been like bang, and my test has been I had my bloods done. Um, for reference, my first time I got bloods done, I was on literally 200 milligrams or 250 milligrams of testosterone. My bloods came back. I went from 22 nanomoles to around 46. So I had a decent jump up. I then had them done a couple of months later when I was on 400, and my test was about 32.
Mad.
So it's like again, like how do you know that people who aren't selling Psalms aren't just selling whatever? You don't. But then also it's like, how do you know which labs are good? You don't. You sadly have to go off recommendations from people that you know and trust.
What annoys me most about Psalms as well, that annoys me the most, right? Couple of things. One, he's accessible, and therefore a lot of naturals or people who maybe want to compete but don't as it they're like, yeah, I don't know. I'll just take some Psalms and see what happens. You've thrown away your natty card.
Yeah.
Despite it probably
Well,
doing absolutely fuck all for your growth,
yeah.
yeah, you've just unfortunately, if you get on a polygraph, mate, it's whether it's I looked the other day, it's whether
But it's for what? It's like even like when I was being asked, it's like, oh, would you use RAD 140? Theoretically, I think it was instead of Anavar or something for bulking. I was like, well, let's say you change
that
RAD.
question.
Yeah, bulking as well. Fuck off. Let's say no, but let's say for whatever psalm it is that's going to mimic this anabolic, which isn't it's going to make it natty or whatever. Let's say you just change RAD 140 to Anavar. Would you recommend Anavar for bulking? No.
Just would you recommend Psalms? No.
No. So you've asked me two questions here. So, and what the second question comes as a side question to the other one. Would you run RAD 140 or X compound? Because I don't know. I don't fucking look into them.
No.
I'd never recommend them. Would you recommend this compound for bulking? First of all, I think if you call it bulking, you're a twat. This compound mimics this anabolic. Okay, would I recommend this anabolic for bulking? No.
No.
Therefore,
Literally. So VAR for bulking.
um,
Bulking can also die. VAR for bulking anyway. No. Therefore, yeah, it's yeah, smart. It's smart. Yeah, it's smart.
it's also the worst thing is that like I don't know how many times I've done a story and it's been like, what would you recommend for for a first cycle? What would you recommend as an off-season stack? And it's always if it's your first exposure, test. If you had multiple exposures, test master or primo. If you had next week. What would you recommend for this cycle? Test, mass, primo, test, mass. Like, it's all you don't need anything else. Stop, like you said, stop trying to fucking reinvent the fucking wheel.
Shall I troll Christine tomorrow and check in and say, Christine, can I take MK677 and Rad 140, please?
I can't do that to Tim because Tim will probably like generally tell me to fuck off.
Yeah, but I think it's just funny. And I'll put like, I'll try and make this font small and put jokes about the Psalms, by the way, at the bottom, like really small in the overall. I feel like he'd just say, all right, Sam, I'm taking you off of my close friends. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Like, I disown you as a client, actually. Actually, I'm charging you more now a month. Um, Christian, I love you, mate. I wouldn't do that. I can't watch stupid. Anyway, you got another question.
I do. It's if you had to coach any elite athlete, who would you choose?
I'm not good enough to fucking coach an elite athlete.
You
But
coach.
I'm gonna say Josh Connolly is my elite athlete. So yeah, him.
What I'm gonna say is, you know how I speak in metaphors?
Yes.
Here's another metaphor. You're playing FIFA career mode. You go onto Twitter. You search FIFA, whatever FIFA you're on. Hidden gems.
El Ajabaji from fucking Sheffield United. You cocklet, no picture. You pick him. He's like a 64 rated, but he's got 99 potential. Let's get it. Fuck's sake.
I basically just sign, fucking hell. I'd poach. I'd offer my services, not offer services. That sounds really dodgy. I would like to coach someone who has never been coached before, but has really, really good genetics. But because they're a bit younger, they haven't really got as much sort of, I don't know.
Nah, see, for me,
No,
that's not.
I've got it. I've got it. I want to coach the most genetically elite person in the world, who is quite young, not too young because obviously I only work with adults. But then I want it to be a point where they don't really know how to train very well. So I want to obviously coach them so I can do that. But then they're also from a really, really rich, really stinking rich family, so I can up my prices. And then teach them to train well.
See, for me, that's too much work. Do you know what I would do? I would take someone who's already proven, and I'd probably take someone like Jack Kinsley Clow and force him to go on gear, and then it'd be sound.
So I go and tell him he lives like half an hour down the road from me.
Tell him I because like top natural, take
By the
him.
way, it's called Clough.
Is it Clough?
Clough. Yeah, there you go. You need to get his name right.
I'll just call him Jack, Tim's client.
Phone Casey.
Jack, Tim's client, who's a peeled, natty, classic, large, bigger than me.
Bro,
Getting
he's
this,
you like ridiculous.
yeah, he's and then just literally say, listen, mate, I'm gonna have to force you to go on gear now, and then take home more overalls. Let's get it.
I think he's like 3 weeks out.
He's
I know he's doing two bros empty, and then
what I don't get is how did he get Tim? It's Tim and the clients. Like, why is he so fucking peeled, mate? I don't get how he's so like. It's the lighting. I don't believe it. I just couldn't get that lean. Now I was peeled.
I do. To be fair, I will say it's like when I signed up with Tim, I almost felt like a sense of pressure because I already knew I was going to prep. But I was like, okay, so who's Tim had on stage last year? Jack Casey, Jack Hattersley, Jay Freaky. All of
Well,
them,
I thought about Hattersley. You could take Hattersley on. Dude, fucking.
yeah, just cheat code. Any of Tim's other clients would be fantastic. But I was like, oh shit, they all got peeled. Pressure's on now, Josh.
It's nice though. Actually it's nice because when I came to Christian, I saw that what Christian was putting out. I was like, fuck, I need to hold myself to a standard where I'm like, and a Christian. I think Christian like he posted a lot about me, so it felt makes me feel good because I was like, I must have done a good job.
Oh yeah, like when, like when I wasn't posting about my prep,
Yeah,
I was still checking every single day. I get my check-in from Tim, followed by a text message 3 seconds later. Can I post it now? And I was like, "Is your fucking you the one who suggested not posting it?"
literally, yeah. Yeah. But
No,
no, he's it's nice.
oh,
It's
to be
nice.
fair, you know, when we were training at Destination,
Yes.
I was ready to post it then.
Yeah, you were.
But I
Um,
was like, I kind of like the only reason I wasn't was just to piss him off. I was like, no, you asked for this, bro. And then I got bored because I no longer I got told I can't see my mates anymore. I got told to stay in Wales. I was like, right,
right. Right. But no, I think that's my elite athlete I'd take. Wait,
no,
no, was it elite athlete? No, it wasn't elite athlete. Was it elite athlete? I think it was.
elite level athlete.
I'd call him elite athlete, wouldn't you? Just I don't know what
I would do.
elite potential athlete.
No, I'd say Jackson.
Elite natty athlete.
My elite level athlete is an unknown name because it's just a theoretical person, but it's just someone who's got elite genetics, hasn't really trained well in the past, but somehow looks all right, and comes from a rich family, so I can make loads of money.
See, what's funny about like Josh Connolly, right? Is when he came to me, like I said, I was bigger than him. I was
I basically
short.
want to find the Josh Connolly, but of a family who is ridiculously rich who will just throw money at them.
Yeah. I just remember speaking to Josh and I said, right, you look good, bro. You know, like when I was first training, I trained a leg day with him with a Hercules shoot. That's what sparked our coaching relationship. So I trained legs with him. He's like, I've never done legs like that before. He used my leg day for the next 6 months and then signed up with me, right? Because his legs doubled,
Yeah.
right? I was still bigger than him. But I said to him, "What are you eating?" He said, I eat like pizzas and lasagnas." I was like, "Okay, you're elite genetics because you're eating shit food and you look like that. Fantastic. That's how I know you're elite genetics.
Yeah.
You're literally eating like 100 grams plus of fat a day, 200 carb if that, and fucking 150 protein. You look like that, bro. Like, fair
Yeah.
play." So yeah,
Have you got any more? I've got one more.
I've got one. Yeah, one more.
I've got
So,
what Mast or Primo, what do you prefer?
but I'm not using, so I wouldn't know.
Um,
I'd say
technically,
I say Prima Bowlen, obviously, just for I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, just from my knowledge,
in
Prima
terms
Bowlen.
of if you had an abundance and like so let's say money was an issue, pinning frequency and pinning volume was an issue, always I'd probably go for Primo. It's more
You can guarantee it's real as well.
yeah, if you guarantee it's real. Hence why it's more expensive because it's more tissue selective. So you are potentially going to have less of an impact on blood work. Um, but then again, I'm also fucking lazy. So as soon as my Primo runs out, I am just going back to 100% Mastron because I can't be asked pinning that much.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a very preference-based thing, isn't it?
I'm not gonna lie, I've seen very like minimal differences in terms of growth from either.
You
Like I
probably
run
will. You
on,
will do though. I think it's a preference-based
like
question. Like,
I've
literally,
if you grow more off one or the other, fair enough. I just choose Mastron because I've seen very minimal differences between the two. Um, blood work has actually, on the whole, just improved every single blood test I've done. Um, so it's like it's not really being impacted too much by either. So I don't really stress about that. In prep, I only use Mastron, and I was pretty dry. That's why I would use it.
I think just fuck around and find out with both of them.
Yeah.
That's simple as that. Test blood work, do a run of master on, test blood work. If it works for you, probably stick to it. If you feel like
But what I'd
maybe
say is like with your first exposure to DHT, right? I'd probably say primo
yes,
because you're not going to be using as much.
yeah.
But then when you're on your, let's say, third, fourth cycle and you're then using more, probably then just go for Mastron because otherwise your bank account will be absolutely shanked. But I'd say while you can get away with it, use primo. If you can get away with it, use primo.
Fact. Last question for me. Favorite form of caffeine, e.g., coffee, pre, or Monster? Ooh,
Monster, I don't think the caffeine content is real. Like I don't
caffeine. What, Monster?
no, I actually don't. Like I don't think I've ever had a monster and been like, oh my God, that's hit me.
I don't think I really. I don't. I think my caffeine, not tolerance, but I don't think I get. I think it's the ADHD, bro. I don't think caffeine really fucks me up that much.
No.
Like, I have a pre
I
now.
think to be fair, I think when I'm in an off season, it hits me a lot more. Like when I'm like deep into an off season, I very, very rarely have any caffeine. And if I do, it's a coffee because I actually like it. And it's always the really like feminine ones from Starbucks, where it's like um caramel macchiato with fucking, I don't know, fruit juice or some just
Well,
weird.
that's Josh telling us he's coming out the cupboard, out the fucking wardrobe, mate. That's
Oh no,
fine.
me peak off season is not straight.
Hello, rainbow flags. Um,
I actually haven't had I call it a fruity coffee. I haven't had one yet.
that's right. So
Mainly
he's
because I just have a almond milk latte with sugar-free vanilla and it actually tastes quite nice. Sometimes I have that. But the
I
annoying thing is, right, the closest fucking Starbucks to me, no one will ever be able to understand because no one knows where I live, hopefully. Um, Tom might, because Tom was at mine a couple of weeks ago. Um, it's walking distance. It's next to my gym, but I can't be asked walking there. So if I want a coffee and I'm just like doing work, I'm like, okay, I could drive there, get a coffee. By the time I come home, it'll be like the perfect temperature to drink. However, there's two routes to get to the Starbucks. One of them, the whole fucking road is closed. So all of the traffic is going the other way. So instead of a 5 minute drive, it is now a 20-minute drive. It genuinely takes less time to walk there. I'm not walking there. I'm too fucking lazy. So
why
I've no
why
Starbucks.
should make one at home? Make one at home.
No.
You're too lazy again.
Yeah, I do. You know, like the Nescafe, like,
Yeah,
stuff. Just like them. So
yeah.
only put some hot water in it. But,
Obviously, you probably I might see my stories. I have the fancy coffee machine, so I have one of them every
oh,
morning. Pretty
fuck
much.
that.
Yeah, it's nice. It's
No, I
nice
have
though.
like the Nescafe ones where it's like fucking mint chocolate Aero. I'm like,
Yeah,
sound.
mine are like freshly roasted beans from like a week ago, mate.
Fuck that. I have that with like two or three custard creams.
Although it does run me fucking
What
through, mate.
what I actually do is I escalate with my morning coffee with when I'm doing work. I escalate custard cream volume per 200 gram of carbs. So if I'm on 200 gram of carbs, it's one. 400 gram of carbs, it's two. So on and so forth. So at the moment, it's three because I'm on 600 grams.
Fucking Christ. By end of off season, be a packet. Christ.
Oh no, end of off season, it is a packet, and that is my last meal. I remember like when I was like bulking, um, when I was like what, 16, 17, I think, in like lockdown, I would literally just sit, play foot champs, and just nail a packet of custard creams.
Oh, mate. Funny
It
you
was
should.
like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and I was like, this is the life, man.
What was your like prior to coaching or like I don't know, because prior to coach when I was on coaching, I ate always pretty well, never did anything which is like stupid. But prior to coaching, mate, I used to do some. I used to have, every day I'd have a meal deal. Every single day I'd have a meal deal, be chicken, bacon, and stuffing
You know
sandwich.
what? You know what a meal I used to have
One.
was an oven pizza, right? But the macros on it were genuinely like elite. It was like literally just a chicken one. It was like chicken, like and just normal like margarita, etc. But it came to like I think 17 fat, 30 protein, which I was like, well, 30 grams of protein. It's got chicken on it, so it's sound. And then like 75 carb. Nail that.
That's all right.
I was like, that's sound. So that was my evening meal. So I didn't fucking track anything. Meal, whatever. That there used to be a place in Cardiff city centre which whenever I was going to a football game, I used to get dropped into the city centre by like my mum or dad or get a bus in, but I'd always go there and they used to always like gainer shakes or something. Do you know USN protein?
Yeah,
You know where it's like it tastes fucking banging, but it's just full of shit.
yeah.
So it was like two or three scoops of that, which would be like 60 grams of protein, like probably like 150 carb. Um, and then just like three like massive scoops of either Nutella or Biscoff is like 1,000 calories. So
Oh.
good. So
So
good.
I'd love to see my blood markers as a kid.
I wouldn't.
Oh wow.
My
LDL.
blood pressure is probably better on PDs than when I was like 60.
Yeah, legit. Now, to be fair, I was a fucking hard gainer, so I didn't really have that issue. But
No,
uh,
but then we were like lockdown, gaming, alcohol consumption.
oh no, lockdown, my skin was the worst, so I knew I was also unhealthy.
I
Yeah,
generally think in lockdown, my blood was like 50% alcohol.
And what my alcohol in lockdown was sound. It was more fucking food. I didn't train either, so obviously
On a lockdown, right? I remember there was we played like what was it? We played pro clubs and we got 11 of us on. Just got absolutely hammered. I allowed after we went off like an hour or so, then went and trained in my garage. Solid pre.
nah.
It's
I
a
remember.
it was a crate of Copperberg.
I'll tell you one story about drinking before gym. I didn't even drink. Well, I did drink, but I didn't drink. Right. I went to I went just with some friends to a local pub. It was well sunny outside. Whatever. I wore my gym gear. I had a fucking dark fruits. 1 pint of dark fruits.
Yeah.
Got into the gym. Got on the bench press. Right. Started training. Stood up. And I was like, I'm gonna vomit, mate. Like I'm spinning here. Like I literally immediately got pissed off of 1 dark fruit, and I was like, nah,
Yeah,
I go
since I've been coached, I have actually gone to the gym drunk. Not drunk, but tipsy.
under Tim.
No, no, no. Yeah,
Impressed.
actually our peak week.
That was destination day, I heard.
No, it was you know when the World Cup was on in the winter?
Yeah.
Wales played Iran at 10 a.m. So me and my mate went into town and in my car there was a sunroof. So on the way there, we're playing the Welsh national anthem, and he's sat on the top in the top of my car, in like he sat on there. The police go past and they just start laughing. And I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a good day. We lost 2-0. But I'd already had 4 pints. Two during the game, two. Actually, I wasn't driving. I wasn't driving because then I'd have to drive home. I was driving. Please don't tell me fucking DVLA. I didn't get a speeding ticket from the finals, so that's good. As I haven't come yet. Probably got tomorrow. Along with my driving ban. But yeah, so I went to the gym, had 4 pints, and actually had a really good session. I did get dropped to the gym though. So
Yeah.
I left my car where I parked it.
At the pub.
And picked it up the next day.
Responsible human being.
Yeah.
That's-
I think I pressed the 60s that day as well.
if you need if you need his registration number to report him, you can message me.
Oh shit, I've actually just got my bloods back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, live on the pod.
Yeah.
That's the buzz of my phone. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. No, I'm getting mine done tomorrow. I reckon we should break them down on next podcast.
You
Maybe
get
back
about
at the
two
evening.
top jumps. Who's got the worst?
I haven't got mine, you cunt. I can do a prep ones. 7 nanomole. Go on.
My vitamin D's low.
That's easy. That's an easy replacement, isn't it?
Yeah, that'd be sound. Oh, literally, from my comparison to when I got my bloods back from prep last year, the paragraph which my doctor sends me is like this big. Mainly because I know my doctor. He works in my gym. It's private. And he was like, "I'm very, very sorry to tell you this, Josh, but you're gonna need to give blood. I don't like blood. I'm fucking terrified of blood."
Oh
Now,
yeah.
oh, no, no, genuinely, like, I will have a like. My hands are sweating already because I mentioned blood.
Fucking hell.
Like, he's like, I'm sound with absolutely everything aside from blood.
I actually don't care about blood.
Blood sends me west. Like, no.
Something really weird. I don't care, mate.
But everyone's like, oh my God, but you pin yourself. That's different. When your arm's out like that, and
We need to end this podcast soon, bro. Bro needs to go and fucking.
I'm genuinely sweating already.
Yeah, I don't care. I look at it. I just go.
I can't. I can't. I remember like I caught a glimpse of when I did have to give blood. And for reference, this is obviously not 500 ml, but it was like a see-through thing. And it was like probably like a liter of blood. So probably like just a little bit less than what's in this bottle now. And I saw it, mate. I genuinely, I probably fainted for like half a second.
Was that the crit levels?
Yeah, no, it was a red blood cell count was high.
Yeah.
Not that high, but it was just high, so like me as well. But yeah,
I did see someone though. You can't donate blood too much, though, can you? Because it can.
no, I wasn't like donating. It was literally like they took blood and threw it away. So it was fucking pointless. benefiting no one.
Yeah, because you can donate it, can't you? I don't know if you get paid for it. It's for free.
I
I
don't
don't know.
really think I should be donating my blood.
Yeah, some anabolic fucking donors, mate. They'll be getting. They
Just
fucking. Do you know people? Maybe they've had incidents or whatever. They've gone completely catabolic, mate. Lost all their muscle in bed. Give them Josh's blood, mate. And they fucking come out of bed, mate, looking.
yeah,
Uh,
give them my blood's post rebound.
they be laughing, mate. Give it to a natty.
I'm not even on peak. I- I've taken more drugs than one now. Sound cool. I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my. I can't wait to see my bloods because this is the first time I'm looking at them since being assisted.
Oh shit, that's gonna be cool.
Yeah,
What was your test levels when you're natty?
7 nanomole post prep.
Ooh, I'd laugh if they're still natty.
I'd cry, I reckon. No, I'd actually be pretty like okay with that, but I think I've responded pretty well, so I'd love to say that it's higher, to be honest.
What,
But
everything?
we'll see. We'll see how that is. I'm scared for some other markers, but I don't know. Not really scared, but no, but nothing else was really out, to be honest, in my bloods. It was a few things, but things which were controllable. Things are like no stress markers, like just typical things like from prep and stuff. Like ALT was a bit out standard,
Yeah.
and a bit inflammation markers. But I've got a more comprehensive one this time because I'm looking at other things. So yeah, I need to go for a piss, by the way. So I don't want to leave you.
Seriously, yeah, I have a panic attack. Should we just leave it there?
Yeah,
Oh,
bloods next time.
yeah, 1v1 you, bro.
Should we get somebody on, a guest on, and do our bloods and get
Yeah,
into it?
no, I do think we need to get someone on. I think Joe Gillen's messaged me. He wants to come on. I want to get Joe on. I think that'd be quite
Get
good.
Joe on then.
I think Joe, but I also want to get. I think first two we should get after. Obviously, we've had Josh Conley should be Christian and Tim.
After Josh Connolly.
Yeah, obviously, yeah,
So now next one's Christian or Tim.
yeah.
No? Well, who should we ask first?
You've got your check-in tomorrow. You ask Christian.
Okay.
Done. Because that's almost like they're the people who coach us in it.
Yeah. Well, when for? Next week? Sometime.
Right, see whenever they're free.
Okay.
The other thing is, I'm away from tomorrow until Saturday. Yeah, Saturday.
Sounds early next week then.
Yeah. To be fair, I'd probably do Saturday night, but anyway, really.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Cool.
cool.
Right.
Right.
Hopefully that's something coming up in the future.
Maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't.
Yeah. And hopefully you learned something from this podcast. If you didn't, sorry.
Fuck
Uh,
you.
yeah. Aside from that, we'll leave it there. As usual, any story tags are appreciated.
Comment super droll if you got made it this far.
Yeah,
Maybe
what
don't.
yeah, don't
Maybe don't. We get flagged. Comment.
eye bags because mine are sinking by the second.
Yeah, comment eye bags.
Yeah, comment eye bags, and I've also got to do fucking cardio now.
That's long.
Got water.
Oh well. Right. Love you, losers. Anyway.
Right. See you in a bit. Bye bye.